King Charles was being sent from Windsor for trial in Westminster was fresh, exhilarating to those...
For 26 years, he kept his silence. He watched the world mourn his sister, watched the conspiracy theories multiply, watched the BBC move on as though nothing had happened. But Earl Charles Spencer, Princess Diana's only brother, has finally said the words that Britain has been waiting decades to hear. He believes the interview that destroyed his sister's trust in everyone around her is the same interview that left her exposed, vulnerable, and ultimately in danger on the night she died in Paris. Tonight, we break down exactly what he said, why he said it now, and why the BBC may finally be forced to answer for it. To understand the weight of what Spencer has said, you need to understand who he is. Charles Spencer is not a royal commentator. He is not a tabloid figure looking for attention. He is Diana's younger brother, the boy she grew up alongside at Althorpe House, the man their mother and sisters unanimously chose to deliver her eulogy in 1997. In that eulogy, delivered at Westminster Abbey in front of the world, Spencer did something almost unheard of in royal history. He stood at the pulpit and directly rebuked both the British royal family and the press for the way they had treated his sister in life. It was a moment of raw public defiance that stunned the nation watching. Diana had also named him informally as guardian to her sons William and Harry, a duty with no legal standing, but one Spencer has said meant everything to him. For nearly 3 decades since, he has largely avoided wading into public controversy about his sister's death. Until now. In 1995, Martin Bashir secured what became one of the most infamous interviews in television history, Princess Diana's bombshell panorama sit-down, in which she discussed her marriage, her mental health, and her place inside the royal family. For decades, the interview was treated as a journalistic triumph. Then in 2021, an independent investigation led by Lord Dyson found that Bashir had used deeply dishonest tactics to secure access to Diana, including forged banca, statements designed to convince her inner circle that they were being paid to spy on her. Spencer was shown those forged documents directly. He has now stated plainly that high-ranking figures at the BBC participated in what he calls appalling deception to get that interview. And the consequence, in his words, was devastating. The deception left Diana in what he calls a state of justified anxiety, isolated, suspicious of the people closest to her, and increasingly alone in the years that followed. This is the part of Spencer's statement that has shaken Britain to its core. He has now said, in his own words, that he is sure the deception behind the Bashir interview led directly to Diana being left vulnerable in Paris on the night she died. This is not vague speculation. This is Diana's brother, a man who has spent 26 years choosing his words about her death with extreme caution, drawing a direct line between a BBC journalist's lies and the chain of events that ended with his sister's death in a car crash in August 1997. Patrick Jeffson, Diana's former private secretary, has echoed this account, recalling that Diana's anxiety in her final years was not paranoia. It was a justified response to genuine deception happening around her. The implication is staggering, that the institution trusted to inform the public may have set in motion the isolation that left Diana more exposed, more alone, and more vulnerable than she ever should have been. Spencer has not stopped at words. He has formally joined forces with author Andy Webb, who wrote extensively about the Bashir scandal in his book, Diana-rama, to lodge an official complaint with the BBC. The II complaint centers on what Spencer and Webb describe as the broadcaster's continued mishandling and misrepresentation of the truth around the Panorama interview, even years after Lord Dyson's investigation confirmed the deception. Spencer has publicly called certain BBC claims about the matter utterly outrageous. For an institution that has spent years trying to move past the Bashir scandal, this fresh, formal challenge from Diana's own brother represents a reputational threat the BBC cannot simply ignore. So why now? Why, after 26 years of careful silence, has Charles Spencer chosen this moment to connect the dots so explicitly and so publicly? Some royal commentators believe it is simply time. That with Spencer now in his 60s, having processed decades of grief, he has reached a point where silence no longer feels like protection, but complicity. Others believe the renewed conversation around accountability in British media has given him a new platform and a new urgency. Whatever the reason, the effect is undeniable. A man who once stood at Westminster Abbey and rebuked the establishment in front of the world has done it again. This time with 26 more years of grief, evidence, and conviction behind him. The BBC has yet to issue a full public response to the renewed complaint. When they do, we will be here to break it down. This is the royal story no official statement will ever fully explain. This is Monarchy Uncensored. Subscribe, hit the bell, because the next chapter of this story is coming, and you'll want to be the first to see it.